In this video, I'm going to give you 6 slick techniques for keeping your toes warm when you're skiing, hiking, biking, climbing, and adventuring in the outdoors. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional adventurer. I've had a lot of cold feet over the years, and I don't want to have that happen to you. Tip number 1 is make sure you eat at least an hour before you crawl into your sleeping bag and get yourself warm. Because remember that old adage your mom said, oh, make sure to eat at least an hour before you go swimming because you get cramps? There is actually an effect where once you eat, your body diverts blood to your digestive system to begin digestion. As a consequence, it pulls blood from your extremities because you don't have an IV drip of blood, and that causes your feet, your toes, and potentially your head to get chilled. So make sure to eat well before bed, not crazy early, but at least long enough so you have time to let the digestion process begin and not make you cold. Tip number 2 is make sure that when you're outside your tent to stand on something. Do not stand directly on the ground. Even if you have to get a foam pad out of your tent, make sure to stand on that bad boy because that will help prevent cold from conducting the heat from your feet through your boots into the ground. Even though this seems a little silly, by standing on this foam pad or on your skis or whatever, it can make a huge difference in the warmth of your feet while you're in camp. The third tip is the corollary to that is do not let your body contact the ice or the ground when you're in your tent at all. Treat it like a little game of I'm on boiling lava and I don't want to get burned by the lava. So what I do is I make sure to spread out my foam pad as well as I can in my tent and I avoid at all costs touching that ice. Now, this seems like an extreme measure, but when it's minus 45 degrees and you can touch ice and develop frostbite in mere moments just by, I just forgot to, got my foot here and I didn't notice it. Oh, crud. I just made my toe purple or I caused a little bit of frostbite. It can be a big, big deal in extremely cold conditions. The third tip is don't contact the ground in your tent at all. It will make a big difference in keeping your feet warm. Before I get on to tip number 4, please at the end of the video like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to get more information about adventuring. Also check out the link below to the 15 video series on how to keep your feet warm in the outdoors. And I also have a book on how to keep your feet warm in the cold. It's got tons of techniques, even more detail than these videos provide, to keep your feet warm when you're in the outdoors. Tip number 4 is make sure that your foot hygiene and maintenance is good. You don't have to go to get a pedicure, you don't have to go crazy, but make sure to keep all that dead skin under control, because what'll happen is that dead skin can actually slough off and cause an injury, and that will cause you to slow down, develop cold feet, and have a less enjoyable time. So it's actually very important to do everything you can to keep your feet nice and pink and flesh-colored, and everything you can do to make sure your toes, nails, bottom pads of your feet, everything stay clean and well-trimmed. That way you can keep your feet warmer in the cold. The next tip, tip number 5, is avoid tight-fitting socks. Make sure that the socks you have fit your feet well, but they're not too tight, because what can happen is if your socks are too tight on your feet and they begin compressing your feet will become cold because there's not enough blood circulating through your feet to take the heat in your core, in the core of your body, through your legs and into the capillaries in your toes and your feet to keep them warm. So it's critical to your feet's comfort or foot comfort to make sure that your socks are not too tight. Otherwise, it could be a big problem. And the 6th tip is to make sure not to use an air mat without specialized insulative properties. Because a regular air mat will freeze your keister off. Yeah, that's that thing behind you here. I've got the, where's the label here is the Neo Air X-Therm. This is the mat I use on Denali and cold expeditions. In Antarctica, I use an XPED 6 or 9 or XPED 7. It's a down-filled air mattress because a regular air mattress, though it's comfortable, can cause you to be far colder because without special insulation structures inside, the air won't warm up from your body and it will constantly suck warmth out of your body, making you, your body, and as a consequence, your feet warm, and you will have a miserable night of sleeping because of that air mat. So yes, it is more expensive to get an air mat with special insulation structures, but I speak from experience when I tell you that it is super important to make sure you do that to keep your feet warm. My name's Aaron Linstout. I'm a polar explorer and professional adventurer. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Remember, check out links below to all the videos in this series on how to keep your feet warm, and check out the link to my entire book dedicated to keeping your feet warm in the cold. Thank you very much for watching, and enjoy your warm feet.